But when it comes to agents, right, there is a multitude of things that we're calling agents. Everything from, including but not limited to, right, all the claw variations in whether it's the OpenClaw or the more corporate one like a Nemo claw or others, right? So all the claws, right? It's all the code functionality, the codex functionality, the anti-gravity functionality in development environments. Copilot, of course, it's Copilot and Gemini within their respective work suites or as standalone, right? It is the more specialized agents within GitHub or pick enterprise tool of choice within security tooling, right? Microsoft, CrowdStrike, Palo Alto Networks, they all are adding agentic capabilities within their suites, right? Moving over to the more enterprise business ones, you have the Google Enterprise Agent Platform, formerly known as Vertex. You have Salesforce, Agentforce. You have IBM, Watson X orchestration, right? Everything is an agent, but they have radically different security profiles. They have common security things we need. And Alan was brought up wisely, of course, the notion of identity as one of those things, but they are different. And if you are having a conversation about agent security with a security engineer, you may be maybe you are talking about clause and variations, but if you're talking to a chief digital officer, they may be thinking about how do I secure my customer support department that is leveraging Agentforce, right? Radically different problems. Anyway, so my initial rant, and there shall be a few in this episode, but my initial rant is let's nail down what we're talking about first. Maybe we are talking about, the only thing we need to do is we need to clarify which one we're talking about as we start the conversation. But even that clarification is missing from a lot of the industry conversation I've seen around agents.
So, Fernando, I hear what you're saying, right? Agents come in a lot of shapes, sizes, and colors. So do people. So do people. And we've, as a security industry, we've had to recognize that, you take in law school, I'll go back to my law school days, is the case of the eggshell head plaintiff. So a person for whatever reason, was born with a very thin skull and they fell. And a person with a normal skull, it might not have cracked their skull, but because they have a thin skull, it did. And should there be more damages just because that plaintiff had a thin eggshell skull versus a normal person? And this is a common law thing going back to the British courts. The court said, absolutely, you take your plaintiffs as they are. You don't have to hold them all to one level. So the same way we've developed security policies for developers, security policies for QA, security policies for marketing, we're going to need to develop security, not just policies, but processes and technology for different classes of agents. An agent working in your Google, whatever they call Google workspace, or your Microsoft Office may have a very different profile than something that's, a little bit more out there. And so, again, it's going to fall to the security folks to come up with the different profiles. And once we can put an agent in a bucket, of a profile, what are the security rules that apply to them, right? Sort of Super 8021X for agents, if you will. I'm old. But anyway, I think that's the world we're going to find ourselves in. And hopefully responsible agent, suppliers will have these agents have some sort of self-identification, right? Like the hologram has the H on the forehead. These agents should have some identification. So it makes it a little easier to know what bucket to put them in.
But one of the problems I think that we're starting to run into is how do we classify these things